Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dan and welcome back to my new workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to properly chrome your 3D prints. The chrome is so reflective in fact that you can see where you went wrong in life. Chrome isn't necessarily hard, it just has a weird learning curve, so if you don't get it on the first try, just give it a few goes and you'll eventually get the hang of it. The things that you'll need to get a nice chrome on all of your prints: a 3D printed part, sandpaper ranging from 60 to 400 grit, Duplicolor filler primer, Bondo spot putty, flat black primer, an air compressor, HVLP paint sprayer, 2K clear coat, and Duralumin or Ultralumin. Also, for the love of God, please wear proper PPE if you're going to do anything like this. Wear a respirator. You're going to be sanding plastic, Bondo, and spraying 2K clear coat. Be safe, unlike my dad. I don't have a fancy setup. I've been doing this for years in a 12-foot by 8-foot workshop with zero paint booth or any high-end equipment. And I actually stole my HVLP sprayer from my dad, but you can get them for pretty cheap at Harbor Freight. I also spray all of my paints and clear coats outside in nature, safely. It's not perfect, but you don't need to drop a lot of money to get a nice chrome finish on your parts. This video is not sponsored by TDA Maker Supply, even though the owner is my best friend. I paid cold hard cash for all of this Ultralumin and Duralumin, tax deductions. I started by printing these Peacemaker helmets modeled by my buddy Vec3D, and the files are available on wireframe. I printed two identical ones on my Prusa XL to show the difference between Ultralumin and Duralumin. Ultralumin is a perfect mirror chrome that actually hurts to look at in direct sunlight. You can spray it, wipe it, brush it, or even dip your parts in it. It's a magical chrome gift from God. And Duralumin is a darker gunmetal steel. I use it for faux metal or as a base coat for weathered or damaged parts. I know there's shortcuts, but I straight up just sand all of my parts by hand. It really doesn't take long. Surface prep is very, very important. I also accidentally broke the cheek fang part off, and I used my 3D printing pen to reattach it and then fill the seam. Next, I used a carbide bit on my Dremel to quickly knock down all of the high spots, Z-seams, and the aggressive layer lines. After about 5 minutes of carbide work, I hit it with 60 grit on my orbital sander, moving quickly to 80 grit and then 120 grit. The color will shift to a duller, whiter complexion once it's properly sanded, but you'll kind of get the feel for it. I also hand sanded any tight spots that the orbital sander couldn't reach until the whole print is smooth to the touch. And once both prints were sanded, I moved on to my base coat. The first base coat is a Duplicolor filler primer to fill any hairline cracks, build up thickness, and smooth things out. Give it a nice even pass across the entire part. Don't spray it too thick, it'll be easier to sand down after. Once the filler primer dried, I used Bondo spot putty on the tiny remaining imperfections. So I basically just take this, and squeeze it out, get a good dollop on here. You can see some of the grinding marks on the top, and then I kind of just like smudge it and smooth it out as much as I can. This stuff does contract as it dries, so use it sparingly for the thin spots. Nice. All right, so all of the spot putty is now dry, which means I'm gonna go ahead and sand everything back down, starting with 120 grit and then go up to 220 grit. Next is a layer of flat black primer. I do a single uniform pass until it's completely black. After the flat black dried, I then scratched up the surface and attached the bird decals to the helmet. Quick tip, make sure you're wearing gloves from here on out because the oils in your fingers will contaminate the surface. Once it is completely dry, it is now time for the 2K clear coat application. I use the Speed Coat Automotive Clear Coat and I mix it at a 4:1 ratio. I filter this into my HVLP gun and spray it at roughly 30 PSI. I do one medium wet coat until the sheen is uniform. Don't spray too little or else you'll get a weird orange peel, but you also don't want to spray too much and then you'll get drips and curtains. You really do have to just get a feel for it. It takes a little bit of time, but you'll eventually get the hang of it. I then set the parts aside to dry for 24 hours, but this will vary on your temperature, humidity, and location. Also, another quick tip, you can leave the stir stick in your mixing cup so that whenever you check it the next day, you can see if it's cured. Now for the fun part, chrome. Duralumin is a robust, darker gunmetal chrome, whereas Ultralumin is a very nice, high-end mirror finish chrome. And if you mess up, you can wipe Duralumin off with water and Ultralumin off with isopropyl alcohol. I set my air compressor to 60 to 80 PSI to atomize the paint as much as possible. Like 70. I don't know, I kind of just crank the knob until it's past 60. It's fine. I then poured my Duralumin into my teeny tiny HVLP gun and sprayed the first helmet. Keep the passes light and even. At the beginning, it's gonna look like a very dark black chrome, but eventually as you spray more, it'll come out to look more gunmetal. It takes a second to build the Duralumin up, but once you have a uniform coating, it's good to go. And just like that, it's pretty much done. It doesn't take too long. Also, Duralumin parts do have a bit of chrome dandruff that needs to be carefully wiped away. You should use an ultrafine towel like a microfiber cloth, but I have paper towels and it seems to work just fine. I carefully wipe the entire surface to remove all of the light chrome dusting until it's a nice reflective chrome. Duralumin is pretty resilient, so if you're not going to touch it a lot, or if it's just a display piece, you don't really have to clear coat it. So after cleaning the HVLP gun, I then poured in Ultralumin. Spraying this requires a very quick, even medium coat. It will look kind of like chocolate milk at first and then instantly flash to chrome. If you overspray, the chrome kind of pools up and then loses its reflectivity. Just make sure that you're quick and even. You don't really need to do multiple coats. Once you spray the first coat, it should be good to go. This is a little tricky, so it might take a little bit to get the hang of it. It is also very important that you do not touch the Ultralumin piece. Ultralumin is extremely sensitive, so don't even look at it, just put it away. The instructions do say to wait like 4 days, but I'm kind of illiterate and don't like to read instructions, so I just wait like a day. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Duralumin can be clear coated almost immediately. To seal everything, I mixed up another batch of 4:1 2K clear coat. I spray one medium wet coat over the entire surface, exactly like the base layer that I did earlier, and then I let it cure for about a day. And ta-da, a beautiful chrome finish. With the clear coat, you don't have to worry about smudging or messing anything up. The final result is really nice. As you can see, there's the camera, here's me. You can really see the mirrorability of both of these. Ultralumin, beautiful mirror. Duralumin, dark gunmetal chrome. Both of these came out pretty great. I did mess this one up just a teensy bit. You can see some minor imperfections on here from like spider webbing. Because Ultralumin is so fine, it's very hard to see if there's any spraying issues on it. You don't really see the issues until you kind of clear coat it. I sprayed this outside in like peak pollen season in 100-degree weather. Honestly, I just didn't feel like sanding this down and respraying it because I think it looks pretty good. All of this is to say that it does take a little bit of practice to get the chrome dialed in and just right, but it's not too hard to do. The surface prep and the sanding is the most vital part to doing all of this. Duralumin is pretty simple to use. It's a little hard to mess up, whereas Ultralumin does take a little bit of practice. I have a link in the description below for 10% off all TDA Maker Supply products and everything else that I used in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.